This episode brought to you by Sports and Ortho Physical Therapy. I'm here with Dahlia Fahmy, owner of Sports and Ortho Physical Therapy, where they specialize in rehab of fire and police. Dahlia, welcome.
Thanks, Corey. It's great to be back.
So Dahlia, you and I have talked a little bit about the fact that your clinicians are specialized in what you call kinetic chain biomechanics, and that's why your team understands the human body better than the majority of physical therapists out there. Can you explain a little bit about the training and what it means to the members of fire and police departments?
Yeah, Corey, of course, I'm happy to do that. So at our clinic, we are the only clinic in Chicago that has 9 fellowship-trained therapists in kinetic chain biomechanics. What that means is that we understand the human body in motion from the head all the way down to the toes and recognize that everything is interconnected. If our therapists are not fellowship-trained, they are certified, so that's just one step lower. Many times you go to physical therapy and you have a shoulder problem, let's say, and then all they do is look at your shoulder. The problem with that is that your shoulder doesn't really move by itself. If you hurt your shoulder, let's say swinging an axe, well, more than your shoulder just moved to make that happen. So if you're not looking for the rest of the body for a problem that put a strain on your shoulder, you're probably missing the boat.
I gotcha. So I mean, it sounds pretty much like that, like the old song, "Foot bone's connected to the knee bone," huh?
Exactly. We are the only clinic in Chicago that sends all our clinicians either to get certified or fellowship trained in that. That's what it makes us different. If you don't look at the body completely in your assessment and your treatment, you're just not going to get any better.
Well, there you have it, folks. If you're looking for a full-body approach to physical therapy, look no further. Go see our friends at Sports and Ortho Physical Therapy. They have 7 locations across Chicagoland. You can read up on their training at sportsandortho.net. And remember that you no longer need doctors to get a prescription. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure, Corey. Thanks for having me.
Engine 1, Engine 4, Truck 2, Truck 10, Ambulance 82, Battalion 2, Fire 1020 North Main, help is on the way.
All right, welcome back to Chicago's Bravest Stories. Today, we're lucky enough to sit down with Mr. Mahlon Mitchell, currently Madison Fire Department Local 311, and he's got a lot of other interesting stuff coming up soon, too. So we're definitely going to dig into him. Mahlon, how are you today?
I'm good, brothers. How are you guys doing?
We're wonderful. Wonderful. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. We, I got to tell you, we were looking through, I was looking through some notes on you, and I'm super excited. It's going to be real interesting. So I guess we might as well just start off. So where'd you grow up? How'd you grow up?
I grew up, so I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and then shortly after I was born, we actually went to out here at University Park, which is about 40 minutes south of Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
So I grew up out there about 3rd grade, and then moved to Delavan, Wisconsin. It's over by Lake Geneva, between Janesville and Lake Geneva.
Oh, yeah.
Off of 90, but I went to high school in Delavan. Then after that was done, I thought I wanted to be a chef.
Oh,
So
really?
I came back to Chicago. I went to CHIC, which is the Cooking and Hospitality Institute of Chicago.
Huh.
And after about 2 months, I realized this sucks.
Yeah. I figure you could be a better paid cook at the firehouse.
Yeah, so I remember calling home to my parents, like, I don't want to do this. And they actually told me before I went there, like, you don't even like cooking. Why the hell are you going to chef school, culinary school? So it was a 2-year program, but then my parents, they made me stay for the year. So I was going to culinary school during the day, working at Sport Mart downtown, LaSalle Avenue.
Oh, wow.
Then I was going to EMT class out in College DuPage in Glen Ellen.
Yeah.
And that's when I got involved in fire service.
Wow. And, it's looking through, you got a couple brothers in the service, too.
Yeah, my younger brother's up in St. Paul, Minnesota. My older brother's down in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow. Yeah, you guys are spread out all over, huh?
Yeah.
Did you guys have a family before that was in the fire service, or you guys kind of?
We did. My older brother started it, and then it just kind of trickled down from there.
Oh, that's cool. So you were 19 years old. You actually got started in the fire service then, or Wow.
Yeah, I got hired at 19. I was fortunate, and I actually applied in all Chicago. I was living in Naperville at the time,
Okay.
and I was working in Westmont at State Farm Insurance when they used to have the claims offices.
Yeah.
And I applied at every department in the Chicagoland area.
Huh.
But I got rejection letters because I was only 19. You had to be 21.
Oh, yeah.
But I got hired in Peoria, Illinois,
Okay.
and Madison at the exact same time. It's like their tests were like running back to back.
Wow.
And I got hired in Madison, and me and my wife picked to move to Madison instead of Peoria.
Well, it seems to have worked out pretty well for you at this point.
I love, yeah, I love Madison, man.
Yeah. So, so you guys ended up moving to Madison then?
Yeah.
Set up shop and.
Yeah, I moved from Naperville to Madison, and the rest is history. Been on almost 24 years now, almost 25 years now.
Wow. What does that look like getting hired up in Madison? Do you start the academy right away off the bat, or?
Yeah, so we so you didn't have the reason Madison hired me, one is that you didn't have to be 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You only had to have a high school diploma, which I had, and you didn't have to have any, although I had my EMT license, but being an EMT in Illinois is not being an EMT in Wisconsin, so I had to take that all over again anyway, but
God.
yeah, it sucked. But yeah, I got hired, and we have at that time it was like a 13-week academy. So as soon as you get hired, you're put right into the academy.
Just jump right in.
Yeah, we had about 17 that I got hired with, and we lost 5 of them. But yeah, jumped right in the academy, 13 weeks, and then got a station.
Okay. How was the academy?
The academy was tough, man, because I didn't have any fire experience yet, and I did well. I think I was number 3 or 4 out of the 17 we had. Well, it actually turned out to be 12.
Okay.
We lost some, but 3 or 4. But it was tough. I was young. We had some folks in there that had some experience that came from other departments and came from some volunteer departments.
And you were married already?
Yeah, man.
Wow. Jeez.
I got married at 18 years old.
Oh my God! You got married before you got to drink. That's real irony.
That's something. And I didn't start drinking until I got on the job either. So I can't blame it on being drunk getting married. It was planned.
No kid. So you're going through is your brother's is your brother on the job already at this point, or your older brother?
My older brother is, yeah.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
he giving you any tips, any pointers going in? Or
No, he actually loved being a paramedic.
Really?
And I'm not a paramedic.
Yeah.
I'm just an EMT, but he not really tips. My younger brother was at the time trying to get on other places, but no, it was interesting, Fire Academy, but I got through it.
Yeah.
And
So they're going through like basic, like because we did talk for a couple minutes before you came on. So Madison, up in Wisconsin, you guys got what'd you say about 500 guys?
yeah. So we got 500 in our local. So
Okay.
Madison proper we have 400 members, and then we represent, and I'm local president up there too.
Yeah.
And we represent about 100 members that are cities that are contiguous to Madison, so like suburbs essentially.
Oh yeah.
We're not a county department, but we're set up almost like a county local. We got 13 affiliates that are part of Firefighters Local 311.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah, so that's how we.
And are you
how we
guys
set up.
only fire suppression up there? Or do you guys man the ambulance also? Or?
Yeah, we got we're fire-based EMS in Madison, so
Okay.
firefighters and paramedics. Some of our affiliates are actually EMS only, standalone EMS providers.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we have in our local we have the litany of everything because we have some that just do fire as well. But then in Madison we're fire-based EMS, so we got 14 stations, 8 ambulances that have 2 paramedics on them.
Curiosity, are you guys are these all public entities that are part of
Yeah,
311? Okay.
yeah, all public. Yeah.
What Vince, you got EMS stuff?
If you're in Madison and you're on the ambulance, are you a single role paramedic at that point, or are you rotating into a fire apparatus, or do you do like a jump company? Like how is that staffed?
So in Madison, we have one engine that's designated as a ALS engine, Station 14, our newest station. So between our medics, they rotate in and out of that station. But when you're a medic in Madison, you are essentially, you still do firefighting, depending on what your assignment is when you get on location. But majority of your work is spent is being on the ambulance.
But your
conveying.
paramedics who man the ambulance, they've gone to the academy. They're
They're
firemen as
also
well.
firefighters.
We all go through the same academy.
Okay.
Yeah, we start out there. And some people are hired as medics. Some are become medics. We have a medic class, every year or so.
Oh, through Madison Fire
Yeah,
Department?
so you put in to go to be a medic.
That's cool.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? It seems like that's kind of what we find talking to people around the country is like, unless you're in unless you're like in New York or Chicago or one of these real huge cities, like there's a lot of sharing of responsibilities when it comes to the ambulance and the. So how long are you on until you get done with the academy and you get an assignment? Where do you end up landing?
I ended up way west, station number 7. I had a old crotchety lieutenant that did not want a rookie.
No.
No.
Is that pretty rural, like west of Madison there, or is it still very urban?
It's pretty urban.
Yeah.
I mean, not as urban as Chicago, right? But it's houses and everything else around. There's really no rural stations.
In Madison, probably.
Madison, other station like 14, which is way kind of southeast.
Does the university fall within
Yeah,
that area?
Right. So I work downtown at Engine 1 right now, and that's right downtown Madison. I don't know if you've been Madison, but State Street, and then kind of backs up to State Street, and then Engine 4 is our university station. That's right there at the University of Wisconsin, right across from Camp Randall, where the Badgers play.
Yeah.
But I've been downtown majority of my career. Okay. I'm on a lake rescue team.
You graduate the academy, you go out west, and do you remember your first fire?
First fire, I do.
How'd that go?
It was.
If you say not so well, you're going to be in the majority of people we ask that question.
I'm trying to think.
Don't be pressured.
I can tell you what, my first day.
Yeah. Let's talk about your first day.
My first day, I had 5 P&Bs, pulseless non-breathers.
That's not good.
No,
That's not good no matter
mostly
where you
for
are.
them.
Back then, the rookie, and I guess it's that way today too, but back then the rookie ran this old physio control. We ran the defib
Yeah.
and the pads and everything, and I had to do it 5 times, 4 or 5 times. I remember being like, holy cow. Like, is every day like this? I mean, I remember doing, 4 or 5 P&Bs, and then my first day on the job, actually, my lieutenant tells me, real quick story, my lieutenant tells me, he says, so you're supposed to bring donuts in your first day? So my station only had 4 people at it, right? So and you go in a day early to visit your shift before you actually get on shift. So I went in a day early, visit my shift, met my crew, and he says, make sure you get here before I get here. And I said, what time do you get here, sir? And we started 0700 in Madison. I said, what time do you get here, sir? He goes, I get here at 6:30. So I get my first day on the station, and I remember I'm like 19. I'm probably 20 years old this time now.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I'm young, dumb, and so I get there and I go buy donuts. I bought like 36 donuts and
Got the fresh
4
new
people.
uniform on.
Yeah. And I walk in and he rolls in on his Harley, gets off. I'm sitting there in the dark because I don't want to wake the off-going shift up yet, and I don't know what to do. So I'm just sitting there in the freaking dark in the watch room. He rolls in and said, hey, I brought donuts, sir, and it's like 36. He goes, who's going to eat all these fucking donuts? Can we square here?
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
He goes, who's going to eat all these fucking donuts? I was like, well, sir, I just want to bring enough for everybody. So, long story short, I didn't know what was going on, man. I'm not going to lie to you. And he tells me, he goes, all right, your first order is put your gear on, put the flag up. Put your gear on, put the flag on. I'm like, wow, I'm getting my new shiny gear. So I got my gear.
Yeah.
He says, put your gear on. So I grab it out of my bag, and it's new shiny, and I'm putting my bunkers on, and right back, the rookie sits behind the officer, Lisa Madison. We're putting my bunkers on, put my turnout coat on, go to grab my mask, my pack, and he comes out, he goes, what the hell are you doing? I said, I'm putting my gear on, sir. He goes, put your gear on the rig, not on. It's like, what the hell? He walks away. He just turns, looks at me, and walks away. I'm like, oh. Because I'm like, why do they put the gear on every morning? I'm like, I don't know.
It's a tradition. Just
Put your gear on. So
Right.
I'll tell you, man, it was a rocky start initially, but my first good real fire was over on Allied Drive, which doesn't mean you guys, but it's kind of a bunch of apartments, very, very populated area. It was actually a basement fire. And I remember someone taking a nozzle from me because I wasn't ready yet. Not that I wasn't ready. I wasn't physically, like I was putting my mask on and everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I remember a guy named
and
Bubba.
you were on the nozzle that day.
Yeah, I was on a nozzle.
Okay.
So this lieutenant, which is rare, this lieutenant actually has, he always had his rookie on the nozzle to see what they're made of.
Yeah.
'Cause most places, like I do now, my rookie's takes the hydrant.
Okay.
But he wanted me on the nozzle to see what I was made of. So any senior firefighter that came in or was shipped in that day, they didn't understand it either. They were pissed off. But I got to nozzle, and I ended up giving it up, man, because I just had this. There's this other firefighter there on ladder 9. He's like, "Come on, Rook, you're not ready. Come on, Rook, you're not ready. Come on, Rook, you're not ready." And I'm getting all my stuff, I thought I was like, "Well, he's ready," so I handed it to him.
Was that the last time you ever did that?
Yes.
It doesn't take long to learn that
the
lesson, right?
And I got so much crap when I got back to the station. And then I don't have any time on, right? So I don't even know. I didn't know the firehouse culture that everyone talks, and they all and we only at that time 10 stations.
Yeah.
That everyone knew what the hell was going on. If you're on the east side, you still know what's going on the west side.
Oh, like the gossip? Yeah.
Yeah. So it got around. I'm like wildfire, right? No pun intended. It got around so fast, and I got a guy named Bubba calling me from Station 4 saying, "You never give up that nozzle unless you got a red helmet out there. Unless a red helmet tells you to do something, which a lieutenant, then you don't do." And I'm like, "What?" I remember calling home my wife.
Who is Bubba?
Right. I never met Bubba. This guy's like, "Hey, it's Bubba, Station 4. I'm like, "Okay."
Hello, Mr. Bubba.
I remember calling home my wife and saying, "Man, I don't know if I'm going to make it."
Come on. Yeah?
I would remember saying, like, I want to make it.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I got this Bubba guy calling me. I don't know who the hell he is.
But he sounds important for
My
sure.
lieutenant tells me,
So how long were you on before that happened?
probably only about 2 weeks.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that's why, this all happened in just succession.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like I had like 4 P&Bs, which actually went well. I don't remember if we saved them or not, but I remember the call went well. But I put my
did
gear
you
on.
anticipate how much EMS you were going to be getting into?
No.
Really?
No. I knew that EMS was a big part of the job, and that's why I took my EMT class before I got hired. But
Definitely goes to show how serious you were taking it going into it,
yeah, and I just started Firefighter 1 classes, and I got hired in Madison. So I started my Firefighter 1, and just got to complete my Firefighter 2, but I got hired. And the only reason I got hired in Madison was because it was the one and only time they actually advertised in the Chicago Sun-Times. Remember we used to read papers?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know how old you guys are, but we used to read papers when we were younger.
Yeah.
And to go right to the back, the sports page was always on the back, so you flip it over, and then you open it up, and then they had the one ads. It was the last page.
Yeah.
And they had Madison Fire on there. That one and only time they advertised and said only be 18 to apply. So I was ready to go.
Oh, giddy up. Oh, shit. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't think when you introduced Mahlon that what you're actually in the process of doing right now. So why don't we let everybody know what you're actually involved in right now and what it is that we're trying to promote for you.
So we're done with fire stories, you're saying?
No, we're definitely not done with that. But I just want to make that connection before we get too far into these stories.
Vince got that whiff of you giving up the nozzle. He's not happy about it.
He's done with it. Don't embarrass yourself. You're telling me.
No, because I guarantee you there's redemption in here when we move forward.
So I am running for general president of the International Association of Firefighters, which is our international union. That sticker that we all have on the back of our cars, a lot of us, and that Maltese cross, that's representative of the IAFF. So I'm our state president, Professional Firefighters Wisconsin, which is our state association, about 4,000 members, 60-plus locals. And I've been that since 2011. And then I'm also my local president in Madison. About 500 members, and I've been that since 2014. But I'm running for general president right now. It's an open spot. President Harold Shapeberger is not seeking re-election after being there 20 years. and I'm running against brother Ed Kelly. We're running against each other. He's currently our general secretary treasurer at the IAFF. He's out of Boston. And he became state president of Massachusetts at the same time I became state president of Wisconsin. So I've known him for a while now. But we're running against each other. And the election's coming up here. Our convention is all virtual, which is going to be next week. And then we'll get nominated there next Wednesday. Mm. Then the ballots will be cast or sent to all the delegates' homes, and it'll come back. And we won't know, though, till March what the results are, March 3 through 5. But it's been a heck of a race. I just got recently endorsed by Chicago, Local 2. Brother Tracy, Jim Tracy, president of Firefighters Chicago Local 2, was also in the race, but he recently got out. When he got out, he personally endorsed me, and then his Local 2 endorsed me probably a week or so later, maybe. But it's a great endorsement. I mean, I love Chicago Fire Union, the history, and Chicago Fire Service and everything. It's great to have Chicago's endorsement.
And you got a big connection here with growing up in the area, working out here prior to you getting hired out in Madison. So you do have a connection here.
Yeah, and I grew up, like I said, in University Park till 3rd grade, but my wife's entire family is from the Chicagoland area. My wife grew up between Roseland and Country Club Hills out south. Mm-hmm. When I got out of high school, I came back to Chicago area, and we lived in Naperville, worked in Westmont. I actually applied at every department around here, Chicagoland area, once I realized what I actually want to do in life. So, yeah, I love Chicago. I'm a big Bears fan, too.
Are you?
I am.
Oof.
Yeah.
And you don't get any heat for that being up there.
Not at all. No. And when I ran office statewide, you can't admit that you're a Bears fan.
No, you shouldn't.
You probably get more heat for being a Bears fan up there than giving up the nozzle 2 weeks in the
Bears fan. It's not, but you know what? Being a Bears fan, it's not like it's because we don't win. So
right,
it's not like we're threatening anybody, right?
It's like we hate the
Packers
fan. Yeah,
right. It's like we hate the Packers, but do Packers fans really hate the Bears? Because the Bears are easy to. It's like
non-factor, really.
Right. It's like the Lions. Like I don't hate the Lions. We always beat them. They call it a rivalry, but is it?
Is it really though?
No, it's not.
Yeah, didn't Green Bay just win yesterday too?
Yeah. Saturday they played. Green Bay did.
Oh yeah, it was Saturday.
They beat the Rams.
Rams. I definitely do want to talk a little bit more about the union stuff, but going back in. So, what year did you get on, May?
I got on a job in 1997.
Okay. So, so you're there again, about 20 years old, 97, and you're a couple weeks in. How long are you stationed out west?
Only for a year. Then I wanted to go downtown and be on the scuba team.
That was the goal, to get down there?
Yeah, and I can't hardly swim.
Oh, really?
Yeah, was that?
You couldn't hardly cook. You went to cooking school, so
I got a problem. Maybe it's a trend, actually. But I couldn't. I could barely swim, but I wanted to be downtown.
Yeah.
But not unfortunate, but in order to be downtown, you had to be on the scuba team because the station.
That's a requirement of being downtown?
Yeah. Station 1 is on the isthmus. You guys know what an isthmus is?
Yes.
What you do?
It's almost like an island. It's covered by two sides?
Two separate bodies of water. There's only like 2 or 3 isthmuses in the world, and Madison's one of them.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Huh.
So we got Lake Minota and Lake Mendota in the station, and there's a strip of land like right between them.
Yeah.
That's basically our downtown Madison. So it's good you knew that. I didn't know that.
Was close.
That was quick. I thought that was good. But so that's where Madison, our lake rescue team is. It's where our boat's housed downtown, so we respond to both lakes. And I went downtown is where the action was, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Our busiest station, actually the busiest station in the county. One of the busiest in the state is Engine 1. A lot of drunks and kids. And
sure. Yeah, like from the
like every other downtown.
Yeah, State Street and everything else. But it's fun when you're 20 years old.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm 43. It's not the same.
Over.
Yeah.
So what's that station look like?
Right now we got an engine. We actually just got a tiller. First tiller we've had in probably since 1960s. So we have a tiller downtown, ladder, as well as our scuba team and our OIC. Our chief is down there with their driver.
Okay.
So we got 10 folks down there. But I've been down there most of my career.
Yeah. And so when you get in there, you're signing the engine, or?
When I was a firefighter, for the most part, because I was new, I was assigned to the engine. But we kind of rotate. But I was down there as a firefighter. When I got promoted to apparatus engineer, which are drivers, I was down on Station 1. Then I was a chief state for a while, so driving the OIC around. I did that for 3 years. Then I wrote for lieutenant, made officer. Now I'm an officer downtown. The union president in Madison actually has a spot on Station 1 on the C shift, so that's where I'm at, 1C.
Okay.
Because our administration's attached to it as well. So our chiefs are attached to Station 1 as well.
So that shift is designated just for
The local president.
the local president.
Station 1C, yeah.
Interesting.
And that's
Is that a common practice?
I don't know if it's a common practice around the country, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I could not tell you that. But it's been that way in Madison for probably at least 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're a couple of years in your career. I mean, you're almost, you're about 15 years in a career before you start looking at the union, right, to actually start helping out? Or
No,
anything notable up until that point? Or?
I got in a union right away, actually.
Oh, did you?
Just different positions. I actually started on the charitable side of things.
Oh, really?
So I went to my first union meeting probably 2 weeks on the job outside of academy. And I remember going to our vice president at the time and asking, how could I help out? My lieutenant actually told me, like, you got to go to union meetings, you got to be involved. And I thought it was required to do, right?
Yeah.
So I helped out.
Guy?
Yeah, a little crotchety guy.
Oh, Jesus.
He's actually a good friend. I talked to him yesterday, actually.
Come on.
He's a good friend of mine. Oh, no kidding. He lives down south now and retired.
I was just thinking about, like, if you would have brought in 8 donuts, he would have busted your balls just as bad.
Yeah, it would've been
as if you, like, you were just going to get it that day. It doesn't matter what it was.
36 donuts.
Yeah.
Put your gear on. But anyway, I get involved. I started with charities, and I got in our charitable side of things. In 1998, we had this big bus fire in Madison, and we started a charitable organization after that because people wanted to give money to this family, and we had no portal or way to actually do it. So we started a charitable organization. So I was our chief financial officer at charities in like 99, 2000, and then I got on our executive board shortly after that at our station. And I helped run our governmental affairs division at the local level. Then I became, I used to run our burn camp. We have a burn camp where we bring in kids from 7 to 17 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Actually started here in Illinois.
Yeah.
But we have our Illinois Alliance for Fire Safety. We had Wisconsin Alliance for Fire Safety. And I was a burn camp director for 6 years, and I was a counselor for 4 years prior to that.
Wow.
So I started, it was all firefighters. The union helped out a lot with that, all unions in the state, nurses and doctors and burn units. And then I got on our state board in 2009. Then I became president in 2011.
Oh, okay.
Because of some crap they had going on prior, and like 5 guys had to resign. So yeah, I became our state president in 2011. But I was on the board in 2009, the state board.
Wow. How was that time with the burn camp?
It was good, man. It's rewarding.
Yeah.
It's eye-opening. You realize how lucky you are, because a lot of the kids that have been burned by fire or scalding burns have been abused. They have really, really rough, home lives, a lot of them.
Did you get involved in that before you had children, or did you have children before getting involved with the burn camp?
I had my daughter before I got involved with burn camp, yeah.
Okay.
But it's rewarding and depressing at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're with the kids for a week, and you know what you're sending them back home to.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them, but a lot of them are. And a lot of them have
Rough go.
some behavioral health stuff that's going on. It's why they're in the place they're in. Yeah, it's a sad, but it's rewarding too, because they love it. The kids love it. We bring about 100 at that time, about 90 to 100 kids from around the state.
Wow.
And we have about 50, 60 counselors.
Okay.
Are you still involved in that?
We run it now out of the state association. We actually run it.
Because I know we had, who'd we have on here that was saying that they were involved in that, and with COVID, they got really basically shut them down for this year. And did you guys have the same experience?
Yeah, we had to shut ours was virtual,
Yeah.
a virtual camp, which that's not fun. But we made the best of it.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by Federal Savings Bank. I have Josh and Joe both here on the line. How are you guys?
Great. Thanks for having us.
You guys work with Federal Savings Bank. Who are you guys? What is Federal Savings Bank all about?
Yeah, so I'm Joey Matthews. MLS is 130-694. I'm also a firefighter with Local 717 and a Marine vet. The Federal Savings Bank, man, it's a bank that's owned by a bunch of veterans. We just try to help out our people.
And I'm Josh Hill, NMLS 1959673. I'm also with IAFF Local 717. And we're on a team with a bunch of other public safety guys from the city and the burbs and a number of military vets on our loan mortgage team.
We kind of got into what your company's about. Why should firefighters and first responders get their mortgage with you guys?
Well, between the members on our team, we have decades of fire EMS, PD, military experience. A large portion of our business comes from the emergency services, fire departments, PD, because they trust fellow firefighters and truthfully their rights. We won't violate that trust. I mean, I have to work 24-hour shifts with some of my clients, and I don't think a lot of lenders can say that.
No, and I mean, we're accessible 24/7. Call, text, email. We're always going to be able to get right back to you. And we don't beat around the bush. If we're telling you something has no closing costs, we're going to tell you why that has no closing costs. Sometimes people raise the rate and say, oh, no closing costs, but really they're just getting you on the back end anyway.
Well, I know that this is a really great time to refinance and purchase now. Kind of explain to the listeners why that is.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot to it, but at the end of the day, right now, the market is just historically low. I mean, I don't want to get into too much rate talk right now, but there's just so many market conditions with COVID that have led to historically low rates.
Give your number out, give where everybody can reach you guys so that if people are interested in refinancing and taking advantage of these rates, or they're just looking to purchase, you might be a first responder, where can they get a hold of you guys?
Sure, they can call our team at 708-356-7916. That'll get through to our team here at Federal Savings Bank.
Now, I know that I was going to put your name there before, but you guys have an interesting contest going on, right?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, as good as we are at the mortgage business, we're not that creative at marketing.
Yeah, so right now what we got going on is a Name Our Team contest. I literally just this morning created a Facebook page for this, facebook.com/NameOurTeam. We're developing a round robin. People can put in entries for team names, serious entries only. Whoever wins at the end of this contest, we're going to give them $1,000.
Wow, $1,000. All you have to do is go to facebook.com/NameOurTeam for a chance to submit the winning name. Give that information out one more time.
Facebook.com/NameOurTeam.
Facebook.com/NameOurTeam. The number of Federal Savings Bank is 708-356-7916. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And so you're starting to get more and more involved. When care to talk at all about Scott Walker?
I'd prefer not to. I mean,
okay.
Scott Walker. Scott Walker became governor of Wisconsin at the same time I became president. So, when you become the new president.
What year is that, 11?
2011, yeah.
Okay.
So he came out, and then he came out with a bill called Act 10, which Act 10 was essentially a bill that killed collective bargaining rights for all public sector employees. But fire and police were exempt. So we had an exemption from the changes. And we didn't know what the changes were going to be. When he ran for office, Scott Walker, he kind of talked about making some changes to union collective bargaining.
Are we talking about like streets and sands and
AFSCME, everyone, like AFSCME, teachers, SCIU, so state employees, correctional officers. We're talking about teachers at all our school districts, streets and others, yeah, water department, everything.
Everywhere. Yeah, the whole state.
So the whole state except for police and fire. And it basically took away their rights to have union rights, collectively bargain.
Yeah.
So right now, Wisconsin's actually a right-to-work state.
Yeah.
Because he came after private sector employees in acts in 2014-ish.
Was that so? That was the platform he was running on.
No, he wasn't running on that at all. He was running on, our state's broke and essentially like take back our state and we gotta, live within our means, lower taxes.
I mean, in your opinion, what was the whole purpose behind that? Was he looking to save money? What was his agenda there?
He ran it under the guise of saving money, saying we have a $3.6 billion structural deficit. But he actually he used it as a way to give himself a name, quite frankly. He ran for president this last time, or 2016. He didn't do so well, but when he ran for president, it was all about, getting unions in check and giving power back, quote unquote, power back to the people of the state, not the unions.
Right.
Being fiscally responsible.
Ironically, yeah.
Yeah, but he also, so he was our Milwaukee County executive. So Milwaukee County is the biggest county in Wisconsin. And he never got along with the AFSCME unions at all, the county union. They used to fight all the time. So when he became governor, he kind of was like, okay.
He had a bone to pick.
Right. Now I'm the man.
Did
take this.
What did Wisconsin look like prior to all this? Were you guys still heavily? I know Wisconsin in general, they kind of bounce back and forth, red and blue, right, over the last however many years. Yeah,
Wisconsin's a strong union state too. Wisconsin had one of the greatest comprehensive collective bargaining
rights
in the country, and one of the first really comprehensive contracts in the country. AFSCME was started in Wisconsin in 1932.
No kidding.
Yeah. So Wisconsin's always been a strong labor state and working class state, and that cut at the very core of Wisconsin. That's why you saw so many rallies, hundreds of thousands of people coming on the weekends to rally and fight back.
Yeah.
Not like what we saw last week. We were actually rallying and protesting.
Right.
But,
right.
No, Wisconsin's a very strong labor state, but police and fire, we still have our collective bargaining rights for the most part.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, we just can't we can't bargain over health care plan design, it's called, which is essentially copays and deductibles.
Okay. Yeah, and I know that's that was one of the points in your plan coming up too, right?
Yeah.
But so with that, I was talking to a friend about this. So there were no unions, no fire unions that were actually destroyed out of this at this point, or no?
No.
Okay.
No, we've actually we've gained membership since and organized since. But
how many locals does, not to put you on the spot, how many locals does Wisconsin have? Do you know?
61.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we've had a couple that have joined
After
consolidated essentially, but we're about 61 locals, about 4,000 members.
Well, and not to, I'll tell you, Mahlon, I was actually reading an article I'll dip into real quick. But today is Martin Luther King Day, and I was actually just reading this article this morning about him, and I guess the night before Martin Luther King got assassinated, he was actually working with with the Memphis streets and sanitation workers.
Right.
Rallying for labor rights. So I thought that was pretty interesting for today, that we're actually talking to Mahlon with labor rights on Martin Luther King Day.
And I'm black, so
and Mahlon is black.
So that you got.
I'm black too, actually. If you guys haven't seen
you
me
are not.
I'm not black. We don't know about Vince.
I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
We're like a Benetton commercial in here.
Yeah. We can all do all different color makeups. It'd be great.
Well, now you're turning red, actually.
I'm quite red, actually, right now.
You got him good. You got him good.
He got me.
Well, I think he wanted to say
I tee you up with it. So, you know what? And actually, what I was the big lead-in for that, I was going to tee you up with you being, so you were elected president of Wisconsin, and and I saw that you were the first African American to serve as president for Wisconsin. That was going to be the
Oh,
lead-in
I'm
to
sorry.
my-
I got ahead
I
of
backed
us.
myself
No,
up.
don't
I
back down.
fucked
It
up.
was awesome.
I fucked up. No, it was good.
So the thing though with Martin Luther King, he was actually, yeah, you're right. He was down there, and he was, I think, from what I've read, obviously I wasn't there, but he was totally, because they knew something was on the horizon, and he gave a speech that night that was, if you look back, it was so eerie. It's almost like he knew that something was going to happen. It's like, I've been to the mountaintop, and other things he said at that speech. It was in a church that night, and he was actually rallying that during the day with, like he said, AFSCME local, I forget their local number, it doesn't matter, but their AFSCME local, that they had 2 African-American sanitation workers that when it was raining and thundering, storming outside, they had to actually, they couldn't go inside with everyone else to seek cover. They actually had to go in back of a pickup or back of a garbage truck. And they went back of the garbage truck, then a garbage truck engaged.
They actually ended up getting murdered.
Yeah, and
right?
they got killed in back of a garbage truck. So that's why he was down there, that speaking out against that. And that's a time when like labor rights and civil rights was really in step with a lot of just basically rights for all people.
Right.
That we're all treated at least equally, or at least have a chance. At the American dream, so to speak. So it was a time when labor rights and civil rights were really conjoined.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was interesting, like what I was reading, because I guess I never really, I mean, obviously, Martin Luther King is known for his civil rights movements, but I guess I never really tied them together. I didn't know too much about the labor rights history with them prior to this thing when I was reading it, and yeah, seeing.
Why are you guys working on MLK Day? You guys aren't supposed to be working today.
It's a paid holiday for us. Vince said he'll buy us a couple eggs or something after dinner. So okay, so and then who did you end up taking the reins from when you became president of Wisconsin?
I became president at a time when we had some FEC complaints going on. I inherited. I didn't do it, but my predecessor was a man named Mike Woody, who actually is our current vice president. But when I took over, our state association was at like a crossroads. I mean, we had 7 or 8 locals that wanted to pull out of the state association. There's the IAFF, which is our international federal level. Then there's every state has a state association. Like here in Illinois, you got the AFFI, and we got the PFFW, and then you have your local level. Well, it's not required to be part of the state association or to be part of the IAFF. So state association really has to show their worth and the need and why you're in existence. Well, we had 7 or 8 locals at the time because there's so much infighting at the top. And when I took over, that they said, "Oh, we're going to pull out." Well, they all stayed in, and they gave us a chance. In about 2 years' time, we turned things around. We actually got Milwaukee Local 215 back in, which they're out of the state association for 26 years prior to.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you have to campaign to keep them in? Did you have to go out to these
in.
guys and the guys who were going to pull out? Did you have to say, "Hey, you guys got to trust me. I'm going to."
I asked them to give us 3 years. They said, "Well, we'll give you 2." So yeah, it was campaigning. It was what we did was we actually got stop with all the bullshit. Right, we cut through all the crap at the top levels, and we just went back to the basics of what is our job, what's our mission. Our 7 core objectives, 5 out of the 7 are political. So our job is to advance the interests of firefighters through legislation. And we did that at a very tough political landscape with Scott Walker being governor and everything else. And we just got back to the brass tactics and realized what kind of union would we have and what kind of union would we be if we were just a member-oriented organization. If everything we did at the executive board level, we got 11 board members, right? Mm-hmm. Everything we did at the executive board table was about the membership, not about our external politics or Republicans versus Democrats, or not about our next election because we got, at the time, 3-year terms. It was about let's do what we need to do on behalf of the members.
Because I asked that because that kind of seems how you want to move forward with the international. You kind of seem like you have the same game plan, like work from within and kind of work on the members first.
Yeah.
And we'll get into the handful of things that really mean something to you that you're basically running on. But it seems like your goals back then are still your goals today moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, the union has done so much for me personally, right, in my life and my family. And I realize not everyone's going to agree with everything we do as a union. And they're not supposed to. We're not all going to agree. But we need to just keep our focus in what the job of the union is. And that is hours, wages, working conditions, health and safety for us and our families, right? And making sure we have adequate retirement and retirement security, making sure we have health insurance that is affordable, making sure we get raises and get compensated for what we do. I mean, no one's getting rich off being a firefighter, but making sure that we're adequately compensated for the jobs that we do. I mean, we sign up for it. We know when we go to work that we could maybe not come home, and we should be adequately compensated for that. And the union, us working together as one voice, as opposed to 20, or in my case, in my local 400 plus different voices, just doesn't work. So having that one common voice and that common thread that's talking to the city, that's working with administration, is important. And what we've done in Wisconsin when we turned our state association around, getting back to our majority of our locals are 100 and under in size. So getting back to making sure we take care of locals of all sizes, having the education they need. We used to have an educational conference that would bring 30, 40 people in, but now now brings 240 folks in, brothers and sisters, because we just lowered the fees. Actually, 2 members from every local can come for free. We got more vendors and more educational components. I mean, we started a charitable foundation from the ground up. In 2013, I put together a working plan for us to have our own charities at the state office. Started from $0. Now we have close to $1 million in assets, 2 full-time employees at our state office. Because I think it's important for us as firefighters and as the unions to see our community outside of the emergency. So we're actually there and helping when we're not just doing our jobs and a daily task of our jobs. And it's the right thing to do, and 2, it helps us at the bargaining table. It helps us when there's brown out of stations, or when they're trying to close companies, or have less staffing through attrition, because then our community has our backs when we're going to City Hall or our county exec or what have you. And that's important. So I would take that same tenacity to the IAFF and at the international and make sure we get back to a place where we're taking care of the members, not all the internal bickering. I don't know if you guys have been following, but there's been a lot of internal fights and strife at the IAFF. And I want to get it back to us actually being a united union. And I believe we need a fresh start at the top in order to do that.
What is the biggest concern that you are getting and hearing from members that they're looking for change?
Internally, it's division. It's the concern is how divided we are as union leaders right now. There's been a lot of allegations of misconduct and other things from our general secretary treasurer towards our general president. And I can tell you, just coming from a place in Wisconsin where we were at a place where there was internal fighting at the top, nothing gets done for the members, right? And I shouldn't say nothing, because there's still programs and services of the IAFF, and the folks that are doing the work are still doing good work. But as far as being innovative and moving to the future and looking for the future and being creative at the top, it's not getting done, because it's who can, they're just bickering and fighting and who can screw each other at the top. And we just got to get rid of that. And the things that are internally is division, but externally, I think the number one priority is collective bargaining and making sure every local that's in the International Association of Firefighters has the ability to sit down with their employer and talk about hours, wages, working conditions, and health and safety. And I believe the ones that actually have collective bargaining, like us, should be the ones that are leading that charge. We have a very, very good opportunity right now with the makeup of Congress, hopefully to get collective bargaining passed this time, a national collective bargaining bill. The IAFF was very close in getting it in the past, but it came down to just 1 or 2 senators, and they were Democrats that voted it down because it was attached to military spending or whatever.
Real.
Yeah. But we need to get collective bargaining for every one of our members in the IAFF.
How split are IAFF locals?
Right now, as far as
on who's able to collective bargain? And
well, it's a majority of the right-to-work states. So a lot of states that are southern states,
really,
that don't have the ability to collectively bargain. But there's been attacks like in Wisconsin, obviously. We were exempt,
Right.
but there's been attacks on our collective bargaining. There's Ohio, under John Kasich had their attack with SB 5.
Oh, wow.
There's been
Yeah.
challenges in Michigan, challenges in Missouri, so it's widespread. That's why to change the conversation for us is to get collective bargaining for everyone, as opposed to waiting or taking that first punch.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of work we have to do to make sure we can get that done.
Would you say that it's your first and foremost thing in your campaign for general president is secure collective bargaining for all the members?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one of the other points that you want to get across is improving the health and well-being of all the members.
Yeah. So what that means is, and that's a broad brush, but if you breaking it down, it's talking about, we're losing brothers and sisters to cancer at crazy rates every year. And we need to do something about it. And the IAFF is leading the charge. There's a cancer registry, which was passed about 2 years ago now, that essentially will provide big data for how firefighters are contracting cancer. And that's great for the future as well. But, when it came to like NFPA 1710 and looking at how many firefighters we need on a rig, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and low, medium to high hazards, and time to task analysis on what makes us safe so we can in turn make our community safe, and how many firefighters do we need on location in order to adequately put out a fire and be staffed adequately. Those consensus standards were actually raised and heightened by the IAFF, and the IAFF stacking a meeting in Anaheim, California, and making sure that the stakeholders from NFPA would raise consensus standards and what the standard was for how many we need on a rig based upon the hazard. So we need to do the same thing when it comes to cancer. And cancer registry is a great first step, but when you look at like the science is changing now, whereas now that the retardants that are put on our gear, flame retardants, look at PFOAs and PFAS, like this retardants now, when it gets wet, it's off-gassing, or when it gets wet, it's actually permeating through the gear and actually permeating through our skin. So the very equipment that is meant to protect us is now we're seeing that's actually hurting
Killing
us.
us, yeah.
And it's hurting our, you look at foam and the PFAS that are in foam, the things that we're using to put on a fire is actually hurting us. So
Well, I know there's big class action lawsuits with the foam now.
yeah. So things like that when it comes to cancer, and we need to do everything we can, working with engineers, holding manufacturers accountable, and making sure that we're doing everything in our power to keep our members from getting cancer. And the other thing is it's our mental health. We're losing more brothers and sisters, and they both suck, right? But we're losing more to actually our brothers and sisters taking their own lives than we are in the line of duty death. That's a problem. Right, and the IAFF started what's called a Center of Excellence on the East Coast, which is essentially almost like a fire station set up where only firefighters can go that are in the IAFF and to get the behavioral health treatment that we need. We've had 7 or 8 of our members from Wisconsin go, and they, in their words, it saved their life. So we need to do everything we can when it comes to PTSD and PTSI. And right now, the IAFF is in the work of getting a Center of Excellence on the West Coast in California, which I would make sure we get done. Also the one up in Canada. But when it comes to behavioral health treatment, we need to do everything in our power to make sure that workers' comp is covering our members before it is too late and paying for the treatment that our members need. And it's something that we can no longer not talk about. It's something that we can't just kind of brush under the rug because our members are dying out there. And it's something that has been talked about more recently in the last decade or so, but it's something that we need to talk about all the time and make sure our members get the help they need.
Well, we talk about mental health here on this podcast pretty frequently, right? I mean, we've had people in here who've agreed to come on just so that they could talk about it and raise some awareness and just unvilify that you're having an issue. So that's one of our projects here too as well. So we definitely know where you're coming from with
And
that.
that just goes to numbers too. I mean, we definitely didn't set off on this thing thinking like that's going to be our primary thing, but it kind of has just from realizing how often it comes up.
Well, and just from the time that we started doing this, people have, I mean, with just first responders across the board, it's just gone crazy. And we're behind you 100% that we need to really work even harder than we're doing right now because we got to turn those numbers back.
Yeah.
It just seems like the deeper you dig, the more there is to it.
Yeah.
And kind of going along with that cause, I did know too that Mahlon, as the PFFW president, you passed this infectious disease presumption law.
Yeah, so that was back in 2000 and that was probably back in 2009 or 10. We actually passed an infectious disease presumption. So we have some presumptions that were on the books, but infectious disease wasn't one of them.
Okay.
So TB, hepatitis, actually we got HIV and AIDS on there as well. So that if one of our members has or contracts any of those
During their time of
infectious
service.
disease and service, that it's presumed that you get it while on the job, as opposed to before the burden of proof is on you as a member or the employee to show where you get it, what call, where the exposure was, which a lot of times that burden of proof is impossible.
Right.
So at least now it's presumed that you got it while on the job, and the onus is on the city to contest it if they so choose.
Prove that it did not happen with you. Well, yeah, that's incredible.
We also got a line of duty that same year though. We got a line of duty death health bill passed where if a member dies in line of duty, that their health care premium is paid for the spouse, their family, up until they reach Medicare age. So that was a big deal as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that was all a team effort. That actually came from our last line of duty death, which was Arnie Wolf in Green Bay, who fell through a floor into a basement. And his family almost went bankrupt trying to pay, the COBRA amount, $1,500 a month for her and her kids. Yeah.
Jesus.
That brings us to the retirement security for all members. And I know that's a big one with, people with some time on. They're starting to consider and work the numbers about how they're going to work their retirement. And so what do you have planned for securing these benefits for retirees?
So when we retire, the number one question that is asked a lot is, we all have our pensions. Some pension plans are doing better than others, but number one question normally asked is, how am I going to afford health insurance if you don't have any true retiree health care? 75% of us in the fire service across the country don't pay into Social Security, career firefighters, because of our pension. We have our pension plans. My local, for instance, we don't have a true retiree health insurance. We get, once you retire after 55, you get on the COBRA amount, which is $1,600, let's say, bucks a month. We have a RHS plan, which is kind of like a 457 to offset some of that cost. But that's a huge expense. So there's a bill that's in Congress right now from Senator Brown out of Ohio that would allow early buy-in to Medicare at age 55 for public safety officers, so fire and police. That's a game changer, I think, for our members. It's something that I've lobbied on, and a lot of our members across the country have lobbied on for last 2 or 3 years at the IAFF Legislative Conference. And I think we have a great opportunity with the makeup of Congress right now to get that passed.
So can you go into that a little more? So you can buy in 2 years earlier?
Yeah, so you can buy in Medicare at 55.
Okay.
So up until
that's the bill that's being passed, is giving you the opportunity to buy in.
It's a bill that's in Congress right now. It's trying to get more co-sponsors. Senator Brown out of Ohio is the one that's introduced that bill. So it's an early buy-in to Medicare. And you can get, for public safety officers only, meaning we can get in at 55, which is our normal retirement age, right? Because our bodies and doing his job over 55 is tough. Doing it at 43 is tough, right? But at 55, I can't imagine. But a lot of our members stay longer because they don't have health care. And they're working they get close to being able to have the ability to get on Medicare, which is 65. This would allow us to get in 10 years earlier. And it actually will help the Medicare program because we're actually buying in. So there's a cost to getting in, but the cost is a lot less than having to pay a COBRA amount for health care, right? So, and it's actually having younger people in the program will help and make it more solvent. Mm-hmm. So it's actually a win-win, really. But it hasn't been passed yet. But I think with this next Congress and the makeup of the Congress, we should be able to get that done.
Got a good shot. That'd be great.
I would also like to see the IAFF explore having our own healthcare plan for active duty and retired members.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. And not everyone has to be in it, obviously, but having a low-cost healthcare plan. And I would like to work with making a public safety officer plan, so police as well as EMS able to buy into or have their own healthcare system, working with our partners, healthcare partners across the country, to have the IAFF provide a healthcare system that our members or our locals can buy into.
Yeah.
For active duty and retirees. So I think that's something that we can get done as well.
Yeah, I mean, look at what's the military one? USAA, I believe.
The insurance company?
Yeah, but I mean, like their whole design in itself is I don't think that they do as much healthcare, but insurance wise, I think that they're only available to, I believe, military
Those who serve,
veterans.
There's international unions that actually have plans like that. So it's not something that's far-fetched. I mean, the IAFF right now has worked with Aetna to provide some Medicare supplement insurance for retirees. So this is another step. I mean, it's
just
a
the
big
evolution of
it's a big deal.
there.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of work, but it's something I think we can get done.
What's a term for the general president of IAFF?
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Okay. You think you got a lot of work? That's a big one that if you don't get it done, you can definitely put a big dent in it you can you do consecutive terms?
Yeah, our current president has been there 20 years. So I would not see myself being there 20 years. I just think that, I always go back and forth with term limits, and I've been asked this question a lot. But I think if you can't get anything done in the first 10 years, then you're probably not going to get anything done in the next 10 years. So, I want to go in, and it's not like something's broke. So we're not fixing anything. It's going in, having big ideas, being able to get things done, but also working with their 16 district vice presidents that are makeup of our 16 districts across U.S. and Canada. Work with our district vice presidents to get things done. And I do have a lot of bigger ideas, and I think that's what the members deserve, right? We all pay per capita into the IAFF, us IAFF members at least, and we deserve to be represented, and we should have a leader that's going to be forward-thinking and thinking about what's every day waking up, like what can we do to enhance our members and the men and women on the street, because that's what that sticker on the back of our trucks means. It means we and the union has your back across the board. And it starts at the top. And the international president out in D.C. should be thinking about how we can have our members' backs better. And that's where it starts. That's why we pay into a union. That's why we pay dues.
Corey, I think we got a pretty good idea of what you're about and what your plans are and what you really want in the future of the international.
Are you going to endorse me today? Is that what
The Chicago's Bravest Stories.
Do you need this endorsement? Because
if you need this endorsement, Mahlon,
I got a call.
We got to call Corey's aunts who listen.
My two aunts are going to be your swing votes. I hate to tell you this, Pat.
But you know what? I do support everything that you have in mind, and that what you want. Everybody who's part of the international should want the same things. So I'm behind you. We try not to get too political here because we want everybody to have an opportunity to say what's on their mind. Let the members hear what you have to say, and they're the people that I know that we've had other political stuff on here, and some people lose the sight of who works for who. And I think you have a good idea that the leadership should be working for the membership.
Yeah.
And that's important to me.
And I truly believe in, and I actually at times hate that term, servant leadership, only because I have a lot of chiefs use it and they don't quite know what it means. I don't think it's just like just a term they throw around. But I truly believe in servant leadership, and that is, I'm not going to D.C. or even now as state president. I'm not some union boss. I'm nobody's boss. Actually, I'm in charge of actually working on behalf of the members that pay the freight to the union. So if I win, I'm not going to DC to be some big union boss. I'm going there to actually work on behalf of the members. And you have that. There's 324,000 members in the IAFF. We've organized 123,000 of those in the 21st century. So we're continuing to grow, and that's between U.S. and Canada, and 25,000 plus members in Canada. So it's I work on behalf of them if I'm their president, and they will drive and direct me on what we need to be doing to enhance firefighters and paramedics all across the country. But the IAFF's leading the way in so many things. You look at cancer research, presumptives, things we use like as local presidents, municipal financial analysis, GIS mapping studies. And at the federal level, look at the Zadroga Act, which was the act that was passed to actually pay for health care and benefits for members that were on the pilot during 9/11 and after 9/11. COVID-19 that we're all dealing with. The IAFF actually was able to get passed last year, a presumptive that if our members die, that it's presumed they died, and they have it's a line of duty death now. So that's a huge deal. So the members, the families can get the public safety officer benefits from the federal government. So the IAFF is strong, man. It's, in my opinion, it's the baddest union on the planet. And we just got to enhance some things and just keep it moving.
Well, Corey, bring it full circle now and go back to Mahlon's fire career. I want to know, did you ever solidify your relationship with Bubba? Did you ever?
I did.
You said he's your guy now, right?
So Hubie's my lieutenant. That was old crotchety guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He came on. He came on back in the late 70s. I actually talked to him yesterday. He is my guy. We're actually good friends. Bubba is just since retired 2 years ago, but I got to know Bubba well.
Yeah.
But Bubba is he's smaller. Yeah, I thought he was like a big white dude with like a big mustache.
Just say you think bald, like
Right.
just like a big like
He's just small.
like Bubba from what's it called? What the fuck was it?
He is bald though, but he's not.
Is he?
I just thought it was this big
Yeah.
guy's gonna grab me.
What's the football movie? Wasn't Bubba in there?
Bubba. Oh, your Varsity Blues?
Was it Varsity Blues? Didn't they have a Bubba? One of them had like
Yeah,
big white,
the guy
big
who had the
bald white
pig
guy.
with him, right?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
You called him Ham or something like that?
I don't remember.
You really got us off track, man.
Yeah. All right, so
So I got
Bubba's
back.
cool.
I got Bubba's cool. I realized that I don't give up the knob anymore. So I never done that again.
And so
I
but
realized
you-
I don't have to put my gear on every morning.
just to raise the flag.
these are the lessons you learned 2 weeks into the job. So
Well, some of that was the first day. You don't got to bring 36 donuts for 4 fucking people.
Yeah, we're still learning that by me.
right, right, 9 apiece.
You got there's 4 a guy, and then you got a couple for the table.
Right.
You never know when you have a guest over. You don't want them to not have a donut, or their selection of said donut.
Right.
What so going through? I mean, you start making you're downtown now. So are you guys pretty like technical rescue oriented down there? Then would you say?
So we used downtown actually. When I went downtown, was the HURT team, so our technical rescue team and our scuba team, all at one station. So we were trained on both. But since all that USAR stuff came out, and I was on our USAR task force for a while, but they actually moved out to Station 8 on the east side. So everyone at Station 8 now is our
They're all the
urban
technical
rescue
guys.
team, essentially. Downtown's our lake rescue team, and then on the west side, Station 7, where I started, is actually our hazmat team.
Really?
So they split up the
Split and
basically
shuffled.
our double company stations are our special teams.
Okay. Were you a part of any of those special teams? Just scuba or?
I'm part of scuba now. I was part of our urban rescue team back when I was at Station 1. And our hazmat team, we're all hazmat techs trained, but we actually
Everyone on Madison's a hazmat tech.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it tech or operation? I think it's tech.
Ops.
Yeah.
I know everyone around here has to be ops now.
It's ops.
I think in Illinois.
Yeah, we're all trained out of the academy to
yeah, you got to train to the ops level.
ops
Now
standard, maybe.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding. Man, where'd you find time to do anything? Just rocking and rolling. I kind of dabble in the technical rescue team.
Well, when you're young, man, it's like you want to take all that in, right? I mean, I want to do everything.
Have you become a better swimmer since?
Worse.
Come on.
Swimmer. You know what? You don't really have to swim to be a diver. You have a BCD on, and you push the button to go down. You press the button, it inflates you to go up.
It's like you're in a fucking submarine, just up and down. Like,
It's got to be able to clear your ears.
Any big rescues or big fires that stand out in that career?
Oh, we got an hour.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's it. Nothing.
You know, I've got
I
some.
put you on the spot
Yeah.
for sure.
We all have our stories.
Yeah.
I don't go around telling them all, but you know, it's Madison. I'll tell you, it's great because we're adequately staffed. We're 4 on a rig, minimum staffing.
It's huge.
That is, and 4 on a ladder to 2 ALS, 2 paramedics on the ALS rig. So there's been a lot of calls and fires. Obviously, I've been through a 24-year career, but we always have enough staffing to make sure it's done the right way. We're not perfect, don't get me wrong.
Oh, sure.
Plenty of screw-ups, and I've been part of plenty of screw-ups, but there's been some calls that stand out, but
Those for you?
yeah.
Those you're going to keep? Yeah. All right, maybe off there.
Well, Corey, before we wrap up, you got to ask them your...
Hey, I got one of my personal favorites. I'm going to put you on the spot with this one, too. Firehouse pranks. What's the best firehouse prank you saw in your career?
You saw, been
maybe
involved
started.
of, or had done to you?
Probably one of the best is a guy in the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
So you're in a stall. Other guy's in a stall next to you.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, the guy's in the stall. You're standing in like the urinal.
Yeah.
You take some Mountain Dew,
Oh, yeah.
put it in a syringe,
Uh-huh. You seen this one?
and then you
You hit him. Just a quick hit. Quick hit.
you hit the guy's leg that's sitting in the stall. Looks like you peed on him.
So,
That to me is one of the funniest.
it's a classic one. It definitely it's enough to just jar someone awake for sure.
Right. Look at Corey over there going, Mountain Dew. You guys use Mountain Dew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got no.
Well, no.
You
That's right.
real urine?
No, that's
It's not a prank, then. That's real. You don't know what I
the
like.
prank is that you did it on purpose. That's what the prank is.
The one I always liked, though, that was always easy, is flowering somebody's bed. You guys do that?
Oh, it's been
one's
talked
that? No.
about. It's been
Is
talked
it?
about. Yeah, remember Tracy Kenny was like people would flower each other's pillow, and she wanted to be part of the group,
Oh,
and she
yeah.
was like, she wanted her fill. She got in at a time where there wasn't too many women in the fire service, and she wanted to be accepted, and the pranks were going on, and she, that was something she was wanting to have done to her, was like, play pranks on me, flower my pillow, do all that. And now, she's the chief of Broadview, just a wonderful person. We talk about the pranks all the time, but I think that's an important part of the fire service. It's when you don't get pranked that, you got
People
to,
probably don't like you very much.
right, yeah.
But yeah, we used to flower. I used to like to do that. And the guys sleep next to me, and just they make their bed up, and then you just throw like a bunch of flour and put it back together for them. They don't know this, so they lay down. It's dark, and then they wake up, go to call. There's flour all. There's flour all on one side of their body, and they're like, what the? I've always liked that one.
Well, the beautiful thing about the flower is you don't really know that you've been flowered
Right.
until you're making a run and people are looking at you like.
There was this paramedic by us that he'd come in and he would just go straight to bed, and to his right, like there were they would run a lot, so like there's times where guys would be working a double, or they'd work on the ambulance where like they're doing a double, they've done a couple calls in a row and up all night and they're just exhausted, so it's fine. But like every day this kid would just set up shop and just like, all right, I'm in bed at 9:30 or whatever. It used to drive me nuts. And so I took a urinal cake out of the not out of the urinal, but out of like our storage.
Okay.
We got like just urinal cakes that drop in the toilets. And I cracked it and I put it in his pillowcase, and I just saw him like just freaking out for 4 or 5 hours. He just did not know where the smell was coming from. And it was just it's not like it's not the worst smell in the world, but there's some going on, and I just remembered him like just finally at the end of end of the afternoon, like just taking all of his stuff out and just like shaking out all of his. He's like, did somebody put like bleach in here? Somebody just freaking out and like just
Did
just
that stop him from going to bed? No, didn't stop him. No. Oh man.
A guy I came on a job with, he actually, we were at a place and his son came out of the bathroom with a urinal cake in his mouth.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good.
Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
I took one of the mints out.
Right.
Took one of the mints out of the bathroom bus.
Candy.
This candy tastes horrible.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm honestly, man, I'm trying to think of anything else we can hit.
No,
you on
we
while
just
you're here.
I mean, we can't thank you enough for making
Yeah,
the time. We know you're
really.
busy and you're kind of doing like a press junket right now, making your way out. But congratulations on your endorsement with Local 2, and we wish you all the success. And if there's anything else, when you want to do something more with burn camp or something like that, or you want to promote anything else like that, feel free to reach out to us and let us know what other projects you're working on, and we'd be more than happy to have you back and have you back as the president. We can talk some more.
Yeah, and I thank you guys for having me, and I'm glad we could do it in person.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Unfortunately, last night I was at the North Side Fire Brigade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nobody gets out of there alive.
Wow. That's
Well, thank you for getting yourself together and coming out here.
Yeah.
right. And I'd like to wish to my friend, brother Tracy, Local 2 president, good health, and I pray for him and his family. And it's Chicago Local 2 as we all know, is a very storied union, as well as fire service. I mean, Backdraft. I know it's a movie, but I still watched it. Weird. 43 years old, 20 plus years on the job, I still watch Backdraft, and I like Ladder 49 too. But no, I love the job that we all do, right? And I love the fire service, and I love this union though, and that's why I'm running for international president, just to move us forward.
Yeah,
take us into the future.
I gotta tell you, man. Like, there's a lot of guys that like to get your kind of time on the job, and you can see them be a little frustrated, a little rough around the edges, and like for you to just have such a good attitude about our guys and about the union as a whole is pretty impressive on my end.
So yeah, thank you again. Good luck, and thank you for tuning in to Chicago's Bravest Stories.
Please make sure to visit our podcast store, our website. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes. And again, please leave a rating. Please subscribe to all those. And that's it now, Vince. You say
That's it?
goodbye now. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Goodbye. Thanks for listening.
Bye. The opinions and views are that of Chicago's Bravest Stories podcast and their guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any municipal governments, fire protection districts, fire departments, EMS, or law enforcement organizations.